Hey, what is going on guys? My name is Gamertag and I'm back for your daily Fortnite video. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys the best settings for controller Fortnite. Whether you're on PS4, Xbox One, or using a controller on PC, this should help you in one way or another. If you guys are going to enjoy today's video or find it helpful, a like would be very appreciated. As well, on the contrary, if you genuinely dislike today's video, feel free to leave a dislike, and I'd also appreciate a comment letting me know what I can improve on for future videos to make them more enjoyable for you. Also, if you're new around here and would like to see more daily Fortnite content like this in the future, then feel free to subscribe and turn on those post notifications. Anyways, without out of the way, let's hop right into today's video. So as mentioned, I'm going to be sharing with you guys the best settings for controller on Fortnite. Once again, whether you're on console or using a controller on PC, you should benefit from this video. Now, I make these videos pretty much every week on my channel where I update you guys on the changes I've made for my settings and such, as well as if you're new around here and have yet to see those videos, then this will show you guys basically the settings I use, why I use them. This way you can replicate them if you like and get a better understanding of the settings I use. On top of that, I'll also share with you guys how to optimize your own settings. Let's say if you don't want to replicate mine and you feel like you'd be more comfortable finding your own, then I'll begin showing you guys how to optimize them and make them perfect for yourself. So with that out of the way, let's just go ahead and hop right into this. Now, over the past week, I've made very subtle changes from my previous video, which was last week. So if you watch that video, you'll see that there's really minor adjustments in this video, and I'll go on to explain why that is. I've been experimenting with various different settings for sensitivity and such, and as of right now, this is what I find to be perfect, and I'll go on in depth about some of the settings that I find to be very important in terms of making them perfect for you. Now, the first thing we're going to be looking at is the X and Y sensitivity. Now, over the past week, I've been messing with this one quite a lot, as I feel like when I stop playing Fortnite for a couple of days at a time and I come back, it always feels like the sensitivity is too high and it's hard for me to control. Therefore, I'll end up lowering it, and then as the days go on and I start to play more often, then I'll end up raising it. It's just kind of changes quite often depending on how often I'm playing. Now again, over the past week, I haven't been playing every single day, so I do have it a little bit lower than what I originally would have it at. It's at around a 0.622. I believe last week it was at 0.64 or 0.65, so it's gone down just very little bit, and I'll try to probably get this up to in the 0.7s or 0.8s over the course of this week or next week, as of course I play more often. So again, this is just basically so I can have more comfortability with it and feel like I'm having more control with it. Of course, if it's too high, then you're just going to be all over the place, and the control for accuracy is just going to be ridiculous. So that's why I have it a lot lower than what I originally have it at. So again, mine's at 0.622, but usually I keep it around a 0.72 or a 0.8. Now for my targeting sensitivity, I have this at a 0.300. I don't ever want to change this, as of right now at least. This has done me justice for the past couple of months, and it's been very easy for me to use this sensitivity. For my scope sensitivity, I have this at a 0.567. This one hasn't changed either in the past couple of months. These two settings are probably the ones you'll see the most consistent on my channel, as I feel like these two settings at what I have them right now has done me complete justice, and I've never really had any problems with them. I know a while back I used to have them a lot higher than this, and sometimes it would feel like it was really good for me. However, other times I'd have a lot of struggles with this. That's why I have it pretty low as of right now, and I've had it like this for a couple of months and don't intend changing these at all for quite some time. Now my controller building sensitivity, I have at a 1.950, which I've had it at for the past couple of weeks. Now it's a lot higher than what most of you guys should be at, and I'll explain that here in a second. However, again, a lot of you guys might have noticed that I've had it at this for quite some time, and I think this week or next week is probably the week that I'm going to end up making a change in terms of increasing it or decreasing it. Now the reason I have mine higher than a lot of people's is because I've been playing for quite some time on a lower sensitivity setting for building, and I've worked my way up to a 1.950, which is again almost the max. Now I don't recommend a lot of you guys go ahead and just up it or increase it all the way up to what I have it at right now, because chances are you guys have yours pretty low, maybe at like a 1.2 or 1.4, or anything that's lower than a 1.7. I wouldn't recommend bumping it all the way up to a 1.950. because the difference in both of these is going to be completely major, and it's going to throw you off quite a lot. This sensitivity is very sensitive compared to some of the other sensitivity settings. So what I'd recommend doing for this setting alone is working your way up. So if you're at a 1.3 and you want to make it a lot higher, just play a couple of games and then put it up to a 1.35. After a couple more games, put it up to a 1.4 and continue going on. And then once you feel like it's at a too high of a setting, just lower it half a decimal place, and then from there try to get used on that setting. That's what I did. I believe I had mine at a 1.2 and then I worked my way up to 1.950 in the course of about a month and a half. I've left it at a 1.950 for quite some time, and I'll more than likely increase it here in the upcoming weeks. Now for controller editing sensitivity, this is the one that I've been messing with the most recently as it is a fairly new setting. I actually feel like the max, which is 2.000, is the best for most players. Now in last week's video I discussed that maybe it should be lower than a 2.000 because this might be too high for some people, such as the controller building sensitivity. However, I feel like the editing sensitivity, you're bound to make mistakes regardless of what the setting is. There's never going to be a time where you're going to have flawless edits, and I don't think anyone in reality has those. So trying to adjust this setting alone isn't going to really resolve these editing errors. However, I feel like if you haven't played in quite some time and you're trying to make ridiculously fast edits on a really high sensitivity, it's going to be too out of control for you. So maybe having that around a 1.7 is decent if you haven't played in quite some time, but obviously after a couple of games I'd recommend moving this all the way to a 2.000. Reason being is having it at the max setting of a 2.000 is going to allow you guys to make the same edits as if it was on a lower sensitivity setting. However, you can do them with less motion, as again it's a lot higher and it's going to allow you guys to make these edits a lot quicker. And that's basically what the background gameplay is as of right now, is me using the 2.000 editing sensitivity. I by no means have flawless edits or anything even close to that. However, when I was using like a 1.65 for my editing sensitivity, I'd end up on this course with about 14 minutes and maybe 30 seconds shown on the clock. Whereas with the max 2.000, you guys can see I have around 15 minutes and some odd seconds at the end, so I definitely increased my time quite a bit. Now for miscellaneous settings, I think most of you guys should have on. Sprint by default is the first setting I think everyone should have on. Pretty much every pro player agrees with me, and realistically there should never be a time you're not sprinting. If you're crouching, this setting isn't really activated or in effect. So again, sprint by default is one that I believe every player should have on. One that just makes it a lot easier, this really isn't going to affect gameplay, is tap to search or interact. It just makes it a lot easier when you're like opening up things and such. Instead of having to hold the X or square button to interact or open a chest, you simply have to tap it. Aim assist everyone should have on, and that's already set for default. Edit mode aim assist everyone should have off. Turbo building everyone should have on. Auto material change is one that everyone should have on, but I believe that is on by default. And then lastly, builder pro build immediately everyone should have on as well. This is going to allow us to have a lot faster builds. Now my brightness setting is higher than the default, and a lot of people are actually kind of surprised about this. I had my brightness set to a 0.80, and the default of course is set to a 0.50. Reason being is because when players are in shadows or in dark places, with the default value for brightness, yes, you'll be able to spot them out from the shadow. However, raising it to a 0.80 has made this a lot easier for me. Just basically easier to depict players that are in dark areas or in shadows. So that is why I have my brightness setting up. It just allows me to have a better view of things. Now moving on to my keybinds. Now I actually want to change these this week, and I'm going to definitely be playing on a new keybind setting, which I'll be talking about in the next week's video, so definitely stay tuned for that, and it's something I think a lot of you guys will actually find very beneficial. So my keybinds are pretty unique, however there are only basically two settings that are different. One of which is my Y or triangle is now keybinded to the edit button, which was originally B. Reason I've done this is because it allows for instant edits, and therefore it's just a lot faster and smoother edits. Now Y or triangle is originally set to toggle pickaxe, which I have now moved over to L3, which is clicking in the left analog stick. This is also why I have sprint by default on, because now I don't have to press any button to automatically sprint. So this allows me to change from my pickaxe to any weapon in my inventory fairly easy, as seeing that my thumb usually is resting on my left analog stick, as most of you guys should be doing as well. And again, my edit button is keybinded to Y, and I do use claw. I know a lot of people ask me about that, and I'll probably have a video either tomorrow or some point this week showing you guys a hand cam and basically how to play claw and reasons why it is beneficial. And then lastly, for my keybinds, I also have B or circle set to confirm, which is also a default, as I know a lot of people are curious about that. Now lastly, going on for the dead zone settings, I will never change these, and you guys probably shouldn't either. I have my left analog stick set to a 0.20 and my right analog stick set to a 0.27. I believe the default for both of these is 0.20, however I've moved my right analog stick for reasons that I'm not too sure as, because I did this right when the dead zones came out. Now again, this setting isn't one I recommend you guys mess with, because it is very sensitive and kind of is a gray area in terms of what it does. To get an understanding of what this does, I always recommend people turning them all the way down or all the way up and then hopping into a game, and it'll give you a very specific understanding as of what dead zones refer to. That's why I have mine, and most people have theirs set too close to what the default setting is. So that is basically all of my settings in today's video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it. Again, the settings changes have been very subtle compared to last week's. However, in this upcoming week, there'll definitely be major changes, especially to my keybinds. If you guys enjoyed today's video or found it helpful, a like would be very much appreciated. On the contrary, if you genuinely dislike today's video, feel free to leave a dislike. I'd also appreciate a comment letting me know what I can improve on for future videos to make them more enjoyable for you. Also, if you're new around here and would like to see more daily Fortnite content like this in the future, then feel free to subscribe as well as turning on those post notifications. With that out of the way, my name is Keybinds. Thank you all for watching today's video, and I will see you tomorrow. Adios.